Now, I'm not a huge science fiction fan, but I do know there's one recurring theme that is prevalent in just all of science fiction, and that is the machines rise up against us and we have to fight for our lives. Now, I don't want to sound like an alarmist, but the machines are already rising up against private dental fee-for-service practices. I'm referring, of course, to the corporate dental machines, the chains. And if you think they're not machines, you need to take another look. The corporate offices have systems that put yours to shame. And after the break, I'll be back to tell you how to not only survive, but thrive in the face of corporate dentistry uprising. Thanks for watching the Patient Attraction Podcast. I'm Colin, receiver. Now, I've been sounding the alarm for some years about the rise of corporate dentistry. One existing model may serve as a guideline for what the impact of corporate offices will mean for the private fee-for-service dentist. And that model is Walmart. Now, corporate dentistry isn't Walmart yet, but there was a time when Walmart wasn't the Walmart that we know today. Now, when Walmart moves into an area now, small businesses that try to compete suffer. That's because Walmart has one of the world's greatest advertising budgets. They also have massive economies of scale and operational costs that small businesses can't possibly match, and price points that are ridiculously low on thousands and tens of thousands of items. In fact, trying to compete has driven many small businesses out of business. Now, like I said, corporate dentistry isn't Walmart yet, but many of the chains are forecasting phenomenal growth over the next 5 to 10 years. And just as with Walmart, if there's money to be made in a given market, corporate will be there. The only question is when, not if, they're coming to your area. Now, you've got a couple choices. You can do what many dentists do and try to ignore the whole thing. And if some of those dentists get out of business soon enough, that strategy might work. But it's not the best course of action for a few reasons. One is you typically won't have much warning when one or more of the chain practices are moving into your market. And whether you plan to stay and fight or sell your practice and retire or start another practice somewhere else, you're still going to be reactive instead of proactive. In business, that's a bad position. Businesses succeed when they have a plan. Failing to plan is planning to fail, and modify that plan only when needed. The odds are that the plan you're using to promote your practice won't work when corporate dentistry arrives. Are you advertising low prices, specials, insurances, and availability? Because that's exactly what the chains market their practices on. And when the chains come in, you're the small store trying to compete with Walmart. And Walmart has notched up a huge tally in the win column. The small stores, not so much. Now, I mentioned there's other choices. Let's talk about those. The second choice is to learn to compete in the areas where corporate is weak. There's one area that the chains really struggle in, and that's trust. And there's a story after story about patients not seeing the same dentist twice. And there's even more stories about patients being gouged by unscrupulous chain practices. Corporate dentistry is short on trust, and that's somewhere you can capitalize on. Here's your winning strategy. Let corporate dentistry market to the low case value patients. Let them handle the emergencies. You focus on attracting the segment of your market that wouldn't be caught dead in a corporate practice. That segment is at least 30% of every market in the United States. And those patients have the ability and the willingness to pay more for the right dentist. And once they're patients, they're going to be patients for life. Now, you've probably figured out that you can't attract those better patients by advertising on low price. It takes time and a great deal of work to position yourself as the only logical choice to solve your patient's dental problems. And that's time you won't have when corporate starts sniffing around. SmartBox helps over 550 dentists around the world with our industry-leading patient attraction system to set you apart from your competitors in helping you to attract more and better patients. Now, don't wait for corporate to come and force your hand. Let SmartBox give you a practice roadmap now. Set up a practice discovery session. Let us show you what one of our systems that can double or even triple your practice looks like. Don't try to fight corporate on their terms. Take the struggle to another level where the advantage is yours. Join me for our next podcast. Until then, keep moving forward.